Howdy, folks. It is Diecastbuffet here again, and Tyler Reddick gets his second career win and a big one at Indianapolis. Granted, it's not the Brickyard 400, but it's still a huge win at Indianapolis nonetheless. You can get his race win 124 scale diecast over there. Go ahead and pre-order that over there at Circle B Diecast alongside his Road America win, and you can save, of course, on shipping with the promo code down below, guys. Make sure to check that out. Quick little note, next-gen cars have been in stock over there at Circle B Diecast. They are selling like hotcakes. Get them while you can. So, what do I honestly think about this race here, guys? Man, I was cheering so much for Allmendinger. I picked Chase Elliott to win the race. He got taken out in someone else's mess. It was hard racing, no harm, no foul, right? That's what happens when you go 3 and 5 wide in a turn 1. I figured he was going to he won Pocono, right? So I figured he would win Indianapolis, and it'd be very similar to how his dad did it back in 02. But I wish Allmendinger would have won this race, man. Tyler Reddick's got so many more Cup wins coming down the road. I wanted Dinger to win this, and he just got ran over. The Chastain, I don't think finished second. I think that's what I heard with the broadcast. Because he took the access road, can't confirm, but I believe that's what it was. I say access road. They have an evasive line in case you overshoot the corner. Essentially, if you take that line, you bypass the entire corner. So it's pretty much, if you don't make a stop and go, you're pretty much black flagged, so to speak. So even though Chastain gave him a run for his money, it was unfortunately all for naught. I tell you what, though, if I was the 1 car, I would have moved him. I don't know what he was thinking. He had so many opportunities to move the 8 car, and he didn't do so. I'm all for aggressive drivers. I don't think... look, if I was a driver, I would not feel, complete just finishing second. I would always be knocking them around, doing whatever I can to win. That's just how I like it. People don't like Chastain for his aggressiveness. I love Chastain for his aggressiveness. That's the new sport we have nowadays. With that being said, it wouldn't have mattered, because if he was DQ'd because of the, taking the off-course area, it doesn't matter. Which, didn't Chase Briscoe do that last year? I don't know. Indianapolis, every time, or, we've only ran it 2 times, but each time we went to this track, it's bittersweet, because you hear about the history. You see the track, the big, gigantic oval, and it's like, we're going to run the road course. I think Kevin Harvick coined it pretty well. It's embarrassing for the Cup Series to run the road course knowing we have so many years here running the oval, and even though the next gen car, or I say Gen 6 car, sucked, next gen would do a great job there. It proved it at Fontana, it proved it at Pocono, it proved it at every super speedway race we've had, that the faster the racetrack, I believe the better the racing for the next gen car. And that being said, I think Indianapolis would put on a very, very exciting show for the fans. But I just really wish they would hurry up and go back to the oval. I really do. Even if they have to run a doubleheader, have the IndyCar race and the Cup Series race on, Saturday. Right? Why not this? Have 3 races on Saturday if they want. You had the early IndyCar race. You can have the Xfinity race after that. And maybe, who knows, I think eventually down the road they'll have lights there at Indy. Run a nighttime race there. I think that'd be interesting. They would have overnight, they could switch out the track, they could pull up the rumble strips, move the safer barriers around, and they could have the track ready for a oval race on Sunday. Believe me, they can do it. They could. They have a gigantic crew. They can make it happen, considering 70% of the oval is not even used. So all you got to do is move what's, in use, front straightaway, a little bit of what would be turn 1, and they're good to go. So I think that would be interesting. I will say, though, I was more excited for the ARCA race at IRP and the truck race at IRP than I was for any of the NASCAR competition on the road course at IMS. I have not been a fan of the road course at IMS. I will say, though, turn 1 is really exciting. Last year, it was definitely the rumble strips, which, truth be told, I wish they came back because they proved so much exciting crashes and hard racing and parity. It was really fun to see. Obviously, they did change it out because they were tearing up so many cars, but hey, man, it made for some pretty good racing, I'll be honest with you. IRP, man, that was the first time I watched a flag-to-flag race at IRP, and I gotta tell you, man, it is my favorite flat track in the country. I cannot tell you how good the trucks race there, how good the ARCA cars race there. I would love to see an Xfinity race there. I don't think Next Gen would race good there, but I'm telling you, man, let's have trucks in Xfinity or ARCA. Maybe run, the Friday there. Maybe this early Saturday morning. You already have your IndyCar Grand Prix there. Run the Cup Series and Oval. You'd have 3 different tracks for all 3 different series if you want as well. You could still run the Xfinity, running the road course, trucks at IRP, Cup on Oval. And they would be within, like a 10, 15-mile radius. Imagine that, the same town, same area, and you have 3 different tracks for all 3 different series. The short track at IRP for the trucks, Road America. I wish that was coming back to the Chicago Street Course, but you would have the Grand Prix style track for the Xfinity and then the Oval for the Cup Series. My point being, I'm not in love with the track. I really am not. Super cool to see Chase run good at the road courses, but I'm just not a fan of the IMS road course. It needs to be the Oval. The Oval is the Brickyard 400. It is a prestigious event of the sport, and I tell you, I just really wish they would hurry up and go back to it. There's rumors for 24 they're going to be going back to it. I don't see why they just don't do it next year. Clearly, the fans want the Oval back. It doesn't take much to see it. I know a lot of people complain that the Oval racing there was boring, but that was just Gen 6. I mean, let's just be honest. You go to Michigan, you go to Pocono, you go to Fontana, Texas, Atlanta, anywhere you go in the mid to late Gen 6 era, the racing sucked. Let's just be honest. 9 times out of 10, it was really mundane. And naturally, Indianapolis, I mean, they tried every rules package they could, and they still couldn't get it right. So my point being, with Next Gen, I definitely think it'd be a much better race. It's interesting how, like, in 2019, everyone, every time they go to the Brickyard, all the TV and stuff, they talk about how, oh, it's such a prestigious event. It's the Brickyard 400. It's one of the crown jewel events. And then they move it to the road course in 2021. They're like, oh, the racing was terrible there. This is the new tradition for the sport. It's still the same event. And then when they go back to the Oval years from now, which assuming they do, they're going to say, oh, we never should have went to the road course. We should have always stayed on the Oval. It is funny, no matter what they do, in terms of the schedule, the rules changes, the TV personnel will always say, they'll always say it's the great move. It's a perfect move. So it's just kind of funny how that works there. They'll praise the road course while they have it, and as soon as they get rid of it, they'll be talking bad about it. It's kind of funny how that always works. But my honest opinion, it was a pretty good race. It really was. Turn 1 was the action corner of the track. Every time they went into the restart in Turn 1, everybody was crashing. There was some tire strategy. Tires meant absolutely nothing because Ryan Blaney was on egregiously worn tires and still was running in the top 5. He didn't have race-winning pace because you got super old tires compared to moderately fresh tires. You're not going to win much races that way. But the fact that he was able to stay out and still be competitive just shows you the track is just not eating up the good years. So there's not a lot of parity in that regard. But I mean, the best part of the race is Turn 1. It's like the Roval. They just funnel, and it's just chaos. But moving forward, though, we got Michigan coming up. I'm really intrigued about Michigan because you go to Auto Club, which RIP Auto Club. The racing was phenomenal, and I think when they go to Michigan, we're going to see a very similar taste of action that we saw back at Fontana. So I think it's going to be some really, really fun racing there. Make sure to comment down below. What do y'all think? I just really wish they'd go back to the Oval. I'm not a fan of the IMS road course. To me, there's so many other road courses they could go run. Road America. They could go run Sebring. They can go run Laguna Seca. They could go run a freaking parking lot. And it would be more interesting than probably the Chicago Street Course. But regardless, I don't know, man. I'm happy for Reddick getting his 2nd career win. Pretty cool there. But it would have been much better to see Allmendinger or who knows, maybe Michael McDowell. He had a great run. Front Row Motorsports had an absolute banner day. I think Todd Gillen got a top 5 as well as Harrison Burton. But Michael McDowell was running up there. I don't think I've ever seen both of the FRM cars that competitive. And it's not because of a weather delay or some crazy strategy. Like, they had legitimate pace in their cars, which is really interesting, guys. Of course, make sure to go ahead and pre-order that Tyler Reddick Race Win Diecast if you're a Tyler Reddick fan. It's going to be pretty cool. I don't know if there's any difference between the paint schemes between Road America and the IMS Race to Win. I'm not sure. If there is a little bit of a difference, it's probably subtle, but regardless, pretty cool. Race win cars for his first 2 career wins. Don't think they're going to be made in 164, unfortunately. But hey, man, at least we get to 124. Anyways, thank you all again for watching the video. Make sure to give it a huge thumbs up, like, comment, and subscribe. Congratulations again to Tyler Reddick. Still wishing Alvin Dinger would have won. That would have been so cool. And an awesome paint scheme to get another win. He did win yesterday in the Xfinity race, so that would have been a pretty cool sweep. Hopefully the Brickyard 400 comes back pretty soon. Thank you all again for watching Diecast Buffet.